What do you know about Moses?
I know about there was a mom and a girl. When he got born, they said to go put him in the river, and then the big sister, put him in the river. And then when she was picking something, the baby float away, and then the king girl went to get the baby, and she's like, "Oh, can I have it back?" And she's like, "Yeah." The sister bring the baby back to mom.
We should take over like a local thing until they sponsor us. Feel free to sponsor us, Red Bull.
Fun fact, the last TikTok we did about Red Bull is the most viewed.
See that? Most viewed.
They're like, yeah, that means we're helping you. You're not helping us.
Welcome back to the podcast with Christian and Johnny. Today we're going to be talking about Moses.
And we're going to be eating whatever this is.
We're going to be eating a completely unrelated pizza, but maybe Moses tried it. Who knows?
All I know is there's honey on it.
There is honey on it. So this is a ricotta cheese with fresh chopped basil, honey, and fresh squeezed lemon juice. I'm sure Moses ate this.
All right.
I'm sure he did.
Okay.
It's a classic Egyptian pizza.
Have you had this before?
No, I completely made it up today.
Oh, okay.
Of course, look, I'm going to get like a softball-sized crust. Give it a shot. I'm like waiting for it. I'm waiting to figure out if I like it or not.
Well, it's just on the list of suggestions that people wanted us to eat, the bad ones.
I don't think it's bad. I do like the honey on it.
Mm-hmm. I love honey.
One of the recommendations was...
They're both stupid.
One of the recommendations was strawberry yogurt and anchovies.
Yeah, which I'd be down to try. I was trying to see if this was on there, but I'm not seeing. Was it ricotta cheese, lemon juice, and honey,
And fresh basil.
and fresh basil? The other one's just a bunch of whatever. If
No,
you have
the
other
other one-
recommendations of good pizzas,
What was the other one? It was...
like mayo base and Italian dressing and whatever, and then I commented, "Where's the meat?" I need some meat. And so he said, if you must, bologna, I think. But if you have a pizza that you love, that you think is unique, and you want us to try, hey, maybe we'll try it.
Pizza that you love, not pizza you want to see us to eat because it's gross.
Unless it's the cockroach pizza, and we get enough people.
100,000 subscribers.
Yeah. I kind of want to do that.
We only
so
need
bad.
99,993 more. We're off to a good start.
Yeah. I really want to do that. So I'm hoping it happens.
Why do you want to eat a cockroach pizza?
It might surprise
Bro,
us.
I'm hoping that we cap out at 99,999.
God, that's funny.
And then that one person that wants to click, I'm gonna have to call them up and say unclick, unsubscribe. Have you ever had freeze dried candy like Skittles or anything?
Mm-mm. It sounds pointless, so I don't even waste my time.
They're pretty good. So we went to the fair today. We took the kids to the fair.
Did you get regular candy?
Which they gave me this stamp. This is for like the all you can ride pass. And at first I thought it said Trump.
Wait, is today Thursday?
Yeah. At first I thought it said Trump, and then I realized it says Thursday. So I was
so
happy.
funny.
I was happy for a second that I had a Trump stamp.
That's funny.
And then it made me think. I asked Sabrina. I said, "Imagine if somebody got a tramp stamp of Trump, like Trump on their lower
I'm sure
back.
someone does.
And then they have a Trump stamp. If you have a Trump stamp, comment and let us know, because kudos to you.
And send out a picture. I think you can comment pictures on TikTok at least.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see it. We went to the fair, and Nova is the limit to ride a ride is 42 inches. Nova is like 42 and a quarter. Like if the top was there, her head. Every one of the ride conductors made her go back and
You
stand
have to really measure.
And then they looked and they were like, "Okay, you can go." So she got to go on everything, which was awesome. So we went on the swings and the slides and the spinning things and whatever. So she had a blast. But on the very last ride, it's a ride that just spins. It spins like a clock, like the hands of a clock. I don't know.
Does it start this way?
It's
and
not
then go
necessarily
up?
laterally. Is it laterally? I guess it would
Like
be
a
laterally.
Ferris wheel, but fast.
Yes, but it goes on the opposite axis. So it spins laterally instead of like, you're not moving forward and back. You're moving like left and right. Clockwise and counterclockwise. It's just doing it really fast. And it swings around. It has a counterweight on the other end.
So like the boat,
Back.
they have like boats.
It's
like,
it's like the
so
boat.
it starts out like this, and then eventually goes all the way to the top.
Yes, and it goes all the way around too.
Yeah. Those are fun. I've had some fun on those.
Yeah, we're on the ride, and I'm with Nova, and we're on the end, and the ride stops, and I go to like unclick the harness thing, and I look over, and the dude 3 people down is throwing up so hard, all over the ride, all over the seats. I'm like, Nova, get out, and I lifted her thing. I'm pulling her away because I mean he was done. So I'm like, thankfully it didn't happen while we were in the air, and then he'd like throw up and then we'd swing into it.
What did it look like?
It was like bright red and it was disgusting. It looked like rust.
I did not think.
It's hard not to remember it because
I didn't think you would try to describe it. I thought you would just be like, that's gross.
It doesn't bother me. I look like you drank cranberry juice, like it was gross. Mm-hmm. So I grabbed Nova and we're like, out. I don't want any splatter on me. I don't want it on my shoes. Mm-hmm. But it was our last ride of the night, but it was still like 2 hours before the day was over. Mm-hmm. So I went over to the ride conductor and he's just chilling there. He had no idea. And I was like, hey, the guy in the back just threw up all over the place. And then he just looked so, like, he wasn't even upset. He was just like, I hate my life. I don't know. Me personally, I would shut the ride down until you can.
You gotta clean it,
sanitize it, or clean it. Obviously, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was the last ride of the night or not. I didn't stick around to see if they would actually fire it back up, but
they probably haven't done a lot.
But how do they clean it? It's not like they have mop buckets right there.
Hey, they got spray cleaner, and
oh my! That guy's not going to clean it with his hands. There's no way.
I've cleaned throw up with my hands before. I don't remember if it was on the podcast, but I've told you about it.
Your own throw up, though?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No. It was in a bathroom stall. We can get into it. There's an employee.
Why not?
This other guy who has this, lifted truck. He's a guy. He's like, dude, someone threw up in the bathroom. I'm like, all right, go clean it up, man. Like, it's a men's restroom. You're a guy. Just go in there and clean it up. He's like, oh, I don't know if I can. It's bad. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, fine, whatever. So I go and do it, and we're kind of like joking a little bit. So he's with me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is pretty bad. And he's at the door. It's the last stall. He's at the door gagging. He can't even hold the door open. He's gagging. So I get gloves and get a paper towel, and so I'm describing it to him. I'm like, oh dude, yeah, this is pretty gnarly. He's like, oh, this is fresh. This is so warm. I was like, dude, this guy just had Mexican. Like, this is straight up, like, I can smell the burrito. This is straight Mexican.
So gross, dude.
I was like, it probably still tastes good. It's so fresh. And then, because I'm joking about it, I'm good to go. But as soon as I get just an awkward whiff, I'm like, oh crap, this is real. Like, oh. So then I have to go back to joking really fast before it hits me. I'm just scooping it up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Have you ever thrown up on a ride?
I don't think so.
At an amusement park?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever been near anybody that threw up? Or been thrown up on?
Have not been thrown up on. I don't think not that I recall, at least.
What would you do if you were on a ride?
And it got on me?
And somebody...
I would want...
And somebody threw up.
Oh.
Let's say you're on the swings. You know, the chain swings?
Yeah.
You're in the air. The dude on the swing in front of you throws up. You catch the full effect of it right in your face. And then the ride still has to keep going, so you can go nowhere.
Yeah, I'm thrown up too, for sure. But it's fine. I mean, the guy didn't do it on purpose.
You're throwing up too?
Oh, yeah. If it's on my face, especially, yeah. If it's like on my hand or leg, I'm like, that's gross, but all right. I think I could deal with that.
If it's on my
But
face.
if it's, I would say neck up. I'm adding to it. Yeah.
Then you throw up, and then the person behind you throws
Just
up.
chain reaction.
And then you have like 75 people just spinning around throwing up. It's just like a big freaking like a sprinkler of vomit. The ride conductor probably like runs away because he doesn't want to get sprayed.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I haven't thrown up on a ride, but I have thrown up once after a ride.
There needs to be a group of people that does that as a prank. They all get on the ride, and they all purposely, like, throw up. That would be hilarious.
How do you purposely throw up?
People can do it. I used to be able to do it in elementary school
I would say that like
because I wanted to leave.
maybe bring some baggies of something that looks like throw up and just act like you're throwing up.
Not the same.
Mentally, it is to the people that.
Yeah, but it's just so much funnier. Like video wise, so much fun. Good throw up humor.
There was one ride I went on that it was a spinny ride, and I was cool up until like maybe like the last 15-20 seconds, and then it just hits you, and I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to get off. Got off the ride, walked over into the bushes, and threw up like instantly. And I was like, okay, I'm done with the rides for the day. That was the only ride that ever made me throw up.
My mom has a story of when she was a kid. She was on a spinning teacup.
The old
And
teacup.
yeah, she had to throw up. And there was this other boy kid, didn't know her. They didn't know each other. Boy kid. They were kids, this other boy. Could see she was about to throw up. And he was so sweet. He held his hands out.
No way.
She threw up in his hands. She never saw the boy again.
Shut up. No way.
So I do that now. If someone's like, oh, I don't feel good.
No.
I do that as a joke.
No way.
And yeah. So if you're still around, my mom told me that story and it's changed my life.
If you saw somebody about to throw up, you would put your hands out.
As a joke. I'm immediately moving
It's actually
away.
kind of cruel. That was not a joke at that point.
Yeah, if someone's like, oh, I don't feel good. Usually they don't throw up.
A boy actually.
Yeah, she threw up in his hands.
Why would she throw up in his
and then
hands?
she never saw him again. Like he went to, clean up.
Well, no kidding. She never saw him again.
I love that story. That's such a sweet story.
But what did he do with the throw up?
She doesn't know. Never saw him
Did he
again.
carried it away, or like did he just let it drop and it was like pointless for him to even catch it?
I imagine he went to like a trash can and just like dumped it and then went to the bathroom, washed off. That's in my head.
No way.
Maybe one day they'll meet again.
I would never do that. Not even like for my own family members. I wouldn't even do that for my own vomit. There's no possible. There's zero benefit to that
Yeah, but it was sweet.
at all.
Yeah, but that was so sweet.
I can see the sweetness of the gesture.
I'm really surprised we're talking about throw up right now.
Well, I just kind of digressed that way because I happened to see a guy throw up today. At the
I
fair.
have throw up stories, and sometimes I love them, just mainly because they make my wife want to throw up, and I think that's hilarious.
You better not throw up here.
No, I'm not gonna throw up. Food poisoning recently, yes, actually, but
Did you?
yeah, bad strawberry. I swear, like, okay, there's a point when something goes bad. Like, there's a definite point. You believe that? Don't know when that is, but I swear this strawberry.
It's usually identified with an expiration date.
But the strawberry was good, like a fresh, like farmer's market strawberry. It was good. Bad. Had to be, because they all looked good. They looked perfect.
It went bad just before you ate it.
Yeah, it tasted fine. The very next morning, none of them looked good. So it was either a weird mind trick where they looked bad, or they were bad, but I had some kind of curse on me, so it looked good. Or it was right then when they turned bad. It was not
Food
fun.
poisoning's no joke.
Yeah, it was not fun.
This pizza's growing on me. You know what I think it is? I took it out of the oven, and then I put another layer of the ricotta that I mixed up with the honey and the basil on top, and that was cold. So it turned the temperature down. I think if it was hotter, it'd probably be a little better.
The pizza's not growing on me.
Hey, you got to try new things. It's part of life.
Yep. Recently, I tried dates. I didn't know dates were so good.
Dude,
They're so good.
they're ridiculous. They're also loaded with sugar and carbs. If you care about that thing, I don't.
They're good.
But that's what people say anyway. I had a whole container of them.
That's a bit much, but I think I'm probably like having 3 a day the past week.
That's so little.
For someone who hasn't had a date my whole life, I've never had a date. And now I have 3 dates a day. And you call
3
it
dates a
little?
day. Imagine if you had 3 actual dates a day. That would be traumatic.
That'd be hard.
Would you, if you had 3 dates a day,
Same person?
no, different
Separate.
people,
Mm-hmm.
would you take them to the same place for simplicity?
I want to experience more stuff. I don't want to experience the same thing.
So it's about you.
Yeah.
So you're selfish.
Why else would you date?
I don't understand.
Why else would you date? When you're in the dating world, you're like, oh, let me find someone for them. You're thinking about yourself.
I don't think so.
No? When you're in the dating world?
If you're hanging out with people, you want to consider what they want to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to take a vegan to a steakhouse.
I'm not saying I'd do that.
Well,
I can do what they want to do, but all different places.
I think the only benefit to going to different places would be to suit the interests of each individual person. But for simplicity, let's say you go play mini golf.
You don't think all girls like the same thing?
No.
I
All
haven't-
girls like mini golf, though.
I haven't
You
dated-
can't go wrong with
I
mini
don't
golf.
think girls really care that much about mini golf.
Are you kidding me? What girl doesn't like mini golf?
I think there's plenty.
There is no girl that wouldn't enjoy it just going to play mini golf. Just casual.
I think that's a bold statement. No girl.
Name one.
I feel like my wife doesn't care about mini golf. I could be wrong. She likes to bowl, so she might like.
She doesn't have to love it, but she wouldn't hate going out on a date.
I know there's people.
To play mini golf.
I went on a mini golf date one time. This girl set me up with a girl.
A blind date.
Yeah,
Oh man.
but I really wanted to date the girl that
I set you
was
up.
saying. That's the only reason I went.
Didn't work out.
No. Afterwards, she's like, "Oh yeah, go talk to her. Give her your number." I'm like, "I really don't want to." Sorry, she's fine. She's great. So, but I'm not. I'm sure it was obvious. I paid more attention and laughed more with the other one.
Yeah, but if somebody was interested in you, they wouldn't be setting you up with somebody else.
Yeah, she had a boyfriend.
Yeah. So it's pretty bold.
I'm trying to remember if she liked me after or before that. I think it was before that. Had to be before that. And it just didn't work out. That's okay.
Mini golf is awesome. It's a perfect activity. It's casual, stress-free, nice, brightly lit public place. Everybody feels safe. It's a great first date activity.
It's not bad.
Bowling is good too. What did we do? We went and
Depends
looked
who
at,
you're with.
we went and looked at motorcycles.
Pretty cool.
So it worked. We ended up getting one. Not first day. Yeah, let me just buy you a motorcycle on our first date. And then it was I think movies. We went to the movies.
Movies are fun because it's
Movies, you don't get to know the person though because
Yeah,
you're
not
just
at all.
sitting quietly for a couple hours.
You're sitting there for 1 hour deciding when to hold their hand, and then the last 20 minutes holding their
When?
hand in a movie. You're like, oh, do I hold their hand or not? Like the first date. I'm talking about first date.
First date, you would actually try and hold their hand in a movie?
Yeah. It's like, oh, should I? Oh, not yet. Oh,
Really?
yeah, like barely even pay attention to the movie.
First date.
Yeah.
You don't even know this person.
But dating, I'm talking about like
Do you even
teenage
hold?
dating.
You even hold your wife's hand in the movie?
Yeah, sometimes, I think.
If it's a scary movie?
No, we don't watch scary movies. She gets too scared.
Oh, she gets scared. I'm sure that's the case.
I don't like too many scary movies. I like thriller type, like psychological scary movies. Wait, what were we doing?
So we are going to be talking about Moses. Eventually. Exodus 1, coincidentally, takes place right after the last verse in Genesis.
Whoa.
Crazy how that works.
Hey, we talked about Genesis. We know what's going on there.
So if you want to follow along sequentially, then go back and listen to our podcast on Jacob and or Joseph.
Joseph yeah. But yeah.
Either or. Because Exodus starts off recapping that Jacob, aka Israel, and all of his sons and his family moved to Egypt, where Joseph was already located, and then they all died. So all of this happens.
Yeah. It's literally what it says. Like, oh, hey, they went to Egypt. They all died.
The end. Great story.
Yeah.
But the Israelites were...
So if you just had the book of Exodus and didn't know anything about Genesis, you're like, okay, great. I can't wait.
Who is Joseph? I don't know. He's dead.
All right. And his whole entire family, apparently.
Then it talks about the Israelites being fruitful and multiplying greatly and becoming exceedingly numerous.
Because that's what they were commanded to do.
So the land was filled with them. Mm-hmm. So they moved over, and then just like rabbits.
Like a virus.
Like a virus. It says, then a new king who did not know about Joseph came to power in Egypt. So he didn't know Joseph's reputation, none of that stuff. He said, look, the Israelites are becoming too numerous. His genius plan was to oppress them and start putting slave masters over them and being really like ruthless to them out of fear, because he was afraid that because of how much they were multiplying, they were going to basically outnumber the Egyptians and then eventually take over.
I think they did outnumber them.
Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become much too numerous for us. Is that what yours says? Verse 9.
Too many. Yeah, too many.
Too many?
Yeah. Too many and too mighty.
Come, we must deal shrewdly with them, or they will become even more numerous. And if war breaks out, they will join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country.
And so then, in oppressing them, they actually ended up multiplying even more.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off.
And he notices that. Like, oh, wouldn't you think, like, oh, maybe I should just tone back the oppression a little bit? Maybe they'll stop multiplying as much if I just tone it back.
You would think. It says, so they put slave masters over them to oppress them with forced labor. And then in verse 12, but the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. So the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites and worked them ruthlessly. I'm curious why they would even say that.
I mean, I'm curious.
The more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. Mm-hmm. Is there a direct correlation between being oppressed and multiplying? Was being oppressed like an aphrodisiac? or was it how they relieved stress from their ruthless, oppressed days, being driven as slaves?
Yeah, I didn't think that much into it. I just thought, hey, if this is the reason and causing them to multiply more, maybe stop.
But why would
that make
Why would being like more harshly oppressed?
I could see how it would spread them out more. Since they're getting oppressed, they're trying to disperse.
They can't disperse.
But to multiply.
They're slaves. They can't disperse. They don't have
Well, they
freedom.
still spread out. They multiply and spread. Spread is like dispersing.
Yeah, but why would... The more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied.
I have zero clue. I don't know why he's even afraid of them if they're all living peacefully anyways.
And then because he's afraid of them, he's treating them like garbage and hurting them, which sounds like bullies in school. Mm-hmm. You know, they try and be mean to people who they're either intimidated or afraid or jealous of.
Mm-hmm. So since they multiply, does it still say the king of Egypt or is this Pharaoh? I know it's the same, but...
They made their lives bitter with hard labor and brick and mortar and with all kinds of work in the fields. And the Egyptians used them ruthlessly. Then the king of Egypt.
He orders the Hebrew midwives to kill the sons.
Well, there's only 2 of them, which is weird.
It's weird that he asked Hebrew midwives. Like, hey, kill your own people. I know you have like these religious views and it's your own people.
I'm going to see the middle first.
Kill the sons. Obviously, they're not going to do it. Right?
Mm-hmm. You would think.
That just sounds so stupid.
So yes, the king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, whose names were Shipra and Puah.
And what is the king's name? Why do they have names?
This king is so useless he doesn't have a name.
But these little midwives have names.
He's the pharaoh.
It's funny.
So it says, when you help the Hebrew women in childbirth and observe them on the delivery stool, if it is a boy, kill him. But if it's a girl, let her live. The midwives, however, feared God. So it's not like they had the midwives didn't want to kill their own people, or they had some sort of moral compass. It was just, they just feared God. It's similar, but not the same. You disagree? Go ahead. Let me hear it. Oh, nothing?
I don't think she's like, it's like a terrified fear of God.
No. Feared as in like revered. Not feared, scared. Feared.
But in that comes your morality sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's why I said similar, but not the same.
okay.
You still disagree?
It's fine. I don't know.
It's okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm not going to be hurt. I'm not going to be sad.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Because it says that. That's what it says. Yeah.
I'm just reading what it says.
Yeah, you are.
And hold on, let's see if there's a footnote.
Probably not.
The midwives, however, feared God. Nope. And did not do what the king of Egypt had told them to do. They let the boys live. So then the king calls them in and says, "What's up?" King of Egypt summoned the midwives and asked them, "Why have you done this? Why'd you let the boys live?" I don't know if they pre-planned this or if this was like true.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be true because
Like a little bit of both.
yeah.
I think maybe a little bit. I don't know.
The midwives answered Pharaoh, "Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwives arrive."
Yeah.
They are vigorous. It's like, did the midwives arrive only at specific times?
So, if this is true, why are the midwives even employed? Why are they a thing?
Egyptian women. They're not like the Egyptian women.
Yeah, that's fair. They're mainly employed by the Egyptians, probably.
Who apparently take their time giving childbirth.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's coming, and they just like really focus and like really put
Call the
all
midwife.
their.
You gotta hold it. Call the midwife. Whatever you do, don't sneeze.
But then, yeah, the Egyptians, on the other hand, are like, the midwife's on this way. Nope, gotta get it before she gets here. Hurry.
You got a dude like standing on her stomach to like push it. He's holding onto the rafters of the house.
That sounds painful.
Push. Help her. Help her.
Would that help?
I doubt it. I don't know.
Or would it just turn the baby into like, it's like pushing Play-Doh through a...
Extrude?
Terrible. I said I wouldn't go dark on this thing. I can't get the images out. That's terrible.
That got dark real quick, but I kind of brought us there, so that's my fault. I was just trying to think of like how you would expedite childbirth. Like, what else can you do?
I don't know. Exercises.
I don't think that would help.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Surprisingly enough, the Pharaoh was like, okay.
Either it's true or he's just like, yeah, I don't know anything about that, but all right. I guess.
I can't disprove it.
Yeah, I guess.
It says, so God was kind to the midwives and the people, and God with a capital G.
Hmm.
And the people increased and became even more numerous. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them families of their own. So even they, do you think they midwife for each other? Or they're like, no, I got this. I'm already a trained professional.
Well, they're Hebrew, so they don't need a midwife. They're so vigorous.
That's true.
And they know what to do.
So they don't need themselves.
Yeah. Dude, if they're a midwife and a Hebrew, that baby's just like, oh, I think my water broke. There you go.
They go to bed one night, they wake up, baby's already there.
Yeah.
Well, my water broke again. After that, Pharaoh gave an order to all of his people. Every boy that's born, and I have a footnote here, let's see. Born to the Hebrews is the footnote. So not the Egyptians, but every boy that is born to the Hebrews, you must throw into the Nile, but let every girl live. That sounds like discrimination.
It's a man's world back then.
Not if you're trying to get rid of them.
It gets rid of the boys because they have the power. She's getting rid of the authority of future males.
But that's like a long-term investment. Because you have a baby. How many years is you going to have to wait before that baby becomes a threat? 15 at least.
Yeah.
And even then...
But it stops the growth at least.
Why don't you just kill the adult men?
Yeah.
Then they can't procreate anyway.
But there might have been just too many out, might have been too much of a fight.
Interesting.
The Hebrew Revolution.
Yeah, because it makes no sense to kill the babies because they're not going to be a threat for a long time. I would have killed the adult men if I was the king. Been like, all right.
I would have just dealt with it and be like, hey, let's
just kind of live peacefully.
just live together.
Yeah. Naturally.
Yeah.
But if I was the king,
So I would kill people like that. I don't know. I don't know why you would do that.
If I was the king and I had his mindset, I would have taken a different approach at accomplishing the same intended goal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone after the babies.
But you could have had a war.
And
it could have been trouble.
Why is it back then, like, babies were so cherished and everybody wanted them and they would do anything to have them?
They're commanded to be fruitful and multiply.
I know, but nowadays...
So that's what they're doing.
Nowadays, there's literal rallies for people fighting for rights to kill their babies in abortion.
Yeah.
Like, the biblical people wouldn't even be able to fathom that. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. The only argument I would have is they're not trying to argue against what they think is killing a baby. They're trying to argue what they think is the decision for the mother. In their mind. They're not
Don't even say my body, my choice.
I'm saying that's...
Don't even go there.
I'm saying that's their argument.
The dumbest argument.
Say that's their thoughts.
They who?
The people at these rallies that you're talking about.
Well, it's dumb. It makes no sense. But where did we flip complete 180 from a child as a gift from God and we'll do anything and everything to get one?
Probably slowly all throughout history when we continually do the opposite of what God wants us to do. Probably sooner.
So it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I mean, I think we'll probably read it eventually. I don't know if it's in Exodus, Leviticus, whatever, when they're passing babies through the fire.
That was sacrificing them to Molech and other
Baal and
pointless gods.
Molech. Yeah.
Dude, I can't even fathom that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I couldn't even be there to witness somebody else doing it to their kid. Like
that's crazy.
I would throw them in the fire. Like there's just nothing.
100%.
I can't even. Boy, Exodus is really dark.
I'd go ballistic. Yeah.
It's just weird how human life and children and babies have just become this completely different perception to nowadays than it was back then.
Yeah.
Because like these guys, they did anything and everything.
Yeah.
They like trade men, use their brothers, use their father.
Yes. Oh yeah.
They get what's that root?
Oh, it's in Harry Potter.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it'll come up.
But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you get like herbs. I don't know, and now it's just I don't know. It's sad. But anyway, chapter 2 is the birth of Moses. So
yeah, we've got this setup, and then now we have a baby boy born during this decree of killing the baby boys, throwing them in the Nile.
Yes.
So we got a Levite marrying a Levite, keeping it in the family.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was the significance of the Levites? They were like God's people, right? The people.
They end up being the ones over worship, but that's a little bit later. But they're just from Levi.
What's the significance of them calling that out? Like a man from Levi married a Levite woman and had a baby.
Maybe there is significance. Maybe later, the way Moses leads, and I don't know. I'd have to get to that part. I don't know.
Well, wait. Levites were the people that upheld the law, right? Because Leviticus is the next book, obviously, in the Bible.
Yeah, they were like
it's about priests. All the laws. Yeah, so they were the.
But they're also in charge of like the worship.
They were the priests that were in charge of the law. Yeah, which makes sense because the law of Moses comes into play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mandrakes. God, that took forever.
Got it. Mandrakes.
Yeah.
You want to have a baby, you got to get mandrakes.
Mandrakes.
And then trade them for someone else's man. That's why they call them mandrakes.
Where'd the Drake come from?
He's a rapper. He's a rapper, right? R&B?
Yeah.
Pop? K-pop?
Not K-pop.
He's watching this going, what?
Yeah, he's not watching. These two Levites, they have a baby, and does it say this baby is beautiful or healthy?
Not beautiful. Man of the house of Levi married a Levite woman. She became pregnant, gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine
A
child.
fine child. Oh, interesting.
Is that what yours says?
Yeah. Holman Christian says beautiful. Fine child. Because, yeah, I was curious if he was ugly, would they have cared?
Maybe not. When she saw that he was an ugly baby, she followed Pharaoh's orders and threw him in the Nile. But thankfully, it was not that case. He was a fine child, so she hid him for 3 months. Then,
Somehow.
when she could not hide him any longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch, then placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile.
Oh, so she did throw the baby in the Nile.
She did.
Kind of.
She just did it in the basket.
Yeah, kind of.
So, what if all of the baby boys that were thrown into the Nile were in baskets?
Yeah.
Pharaoh didn't specify.
I was starting to wonder too, because of where he ends up going. I'm like, if they're all thrown in the Nile, do they all go to the same place?
They all go down to like an orphanage, and then the lady's just
It's like
picking them all out.
Well, no, it goes like close to Pharaoh's area, is where he ends up. It was Pharaoh's daughter. I don't remember if it's
The baby didn't take the rapids downstream.
the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river. So I'm imagining if you're going to bathe at the river, it's close. If you're not going to go.
It's close by, but the basket.
And if it's Pharaoh's daughter, it's probably like a specific private place.
The basket was placed among the reeds along the bank of the Nile, which means still water.
Mm-hmm.
And the reeds are going to hold it in place from floating away.
But it didn't.
It did.
How did it get down the river?
It didn't get down the river.
Oh, it didn't?
No. It says in verse 5, then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the riverbank.
Oh.
She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her slave girl to get it.
Bro, I missed that. I thought he floated down the river and then they go to bathe.
That's what all like the children's books and movies and all
I'm a
that stuff.
child, man. I'm just a child.
They think the basket was just like floating gently and the baby's just looking at the sun and everything's happy.
Yeah.
No. The baby
They're just chilling.
He was just chilling. Well, first of all, she hid him for 3 months. How do you hide a baby?
I'll try.
For
I'll let
3
you know.
months. It will cry. People will hear it. There's no way you're hiding a baby. And then all of a sudden, you can't hide it anymore?
After
3 months?
Yeah. I'll let you know. I know you have 2 kids. I'm about to have one. I think I'll have a good kid. I think I could hide this one. We'll see. I'll let you know.
We'll see if the podcast stops. She's able to hide this baby. I'm already impressed and confused at the same time.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden she can't hide it anymore.
Somehow, yeah.
What happened? Then it says she got a papyrus basket for him. Mm-hmm. Papyrus was the paper that they used to write on. Mm-hmm. Like the sample that I have in the office.
But she lined it with stuff.
She covered it with tar and pitch, but that's like making a boat out of paper mache. You know what paper mache is?
Mm-hmm. It'd still float.
It would soak up water, and if you covered it with tar and pitch, it would float. But how do you?
I've never tried to make it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but I think it sounds like it's something that waterproofs it a little.
See, I'm picturing papyrus as like a sheet of paper because that's what I've seen it in. But I'll bet it was like reeds, like palm,
probably thick,
like palm leaves, where they actually weave a legit basket, like the people do in the street,
mm-hmm.
in other countries,
mm-hmm.
like the people with all the skills that can do master crafts in the street and they get no recognition.
Yeah.
They
get paid
they should be millionaires and they're getting 10 cents and they're thrilled about it.
Yeah, they get a couple pennies for a basket we pay $40 for.
Yeah. Such a disservice. Yeah. But she probably weaved him a pretty sweet basket.
Either word works. We understand.
Now, in your mind, it doesn't specify in the Bible. Was there a lid on the basket or was it open?
I think it's open.
No, bro.
Yeah,
People would get sunburned. You gotta put a lid on the basket, bro.
How tall are these reeds?
3-4 feet?
Yeah, you don't need to. You put it in the reeds.
The reeds are not higher than the sun.
3-4 feet. The basket isn't higher than the reeds.
The reeds are just like tall grass that grow in water. They're not gonna block the sun.
Yeah.
Especially in Egypt. Egypt is a freaking desert.
Not where there's reeds. Maybe there was. I don't know.
There had to be a lid on the basket.
I don't think there had to be, but there might have been.
Why would you make something that floats and then leave the top wide open?
I don't know.
I think there was a top on the basket, but anyway.
Maybe. His sister, Moses' sister.
Yeah, she placed the child among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. Excuse me. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. So that's cool. She was
a watch out.
Yeah, it's nice to have an older sister watching out for you.
Yeah. Then Pharaoh's daughter comes down to bathe, and Pharaoh's like servants or something notice the baby.
Wait, time out for just a second. Pharaoh's daughter, who lives in a palace, wouldn't have a tub? Why would she bathe in the Nile?
Maybe she just liked to.
She was a freak?
She's like a nature girl.
She liked going outside and being naked in front of everybody?
Who doesn't? I didn't think you were going to say in front of everybody. As I had that locked and loaded. I didn't think you had in front of everybody.
What did you think I was going to say?
Just outside naked.
See, you're already planning on what you're saying before I even finish, regardless of whether...
I was ready.
Yeah, that one was good. She's Pharaoh's daughter. She has a palace. They have to have indoor swimming pools and bathing tubs and...
Maybe. I don't want to
no, because
pre-think that. I don't know
not
what
pre-think, because even when we talked about Esther, she was...
Esther's way after this.
I know, but the kings had, like, their queens and the like, family had maidservants.
Mm-hmm.
So Pharaoh's daughter should have had, like, 7 maidservants that bathed her and perfumed her and did all the...
But she could have been like the typical, like...
she was a rebel?
Fantasy stories where it's like, come here, maidservants, and then but once they're out in private, they're like friends. Like, oh, sorry, my dad's treated you this way. Like, come, let's just hang out at the river. I'm gonna take a bath. Let's just take a bath together.
What?
It's like a sleepover. Like when you have a girl sleepover or a boy sleepover.
When you have a boy sleepover, you take baths together?
No, but like it's like the locker room, like a boy's locker room.
You take baths together?
You shower together.
You do?
I was saying you do. I'm not saying I do. I never.
I don't know where you're going with this. Like,
just like a dude's locker room.
There's no reason why that Pharaoh's daughter...
It doesn't have to be weird. You can have girls...
Hey, dude,
bathe together.
I was in the military, bro. I've showered and...
You've done weirder things.
I've showered with more men than most people. That was out of context. I get it. But I don't get why Pharaoh's daughter would go to the Nile to bathe. I don't get it.
Maybe they didn't have a tub. We don't know.
There's no way the palace didn't have a tub. Or, like, an indoor spa. And
it hasn't even mentioned a palace. I don't even know where this...
Pharaoh?
Yeah.
You think Pharaoh lived in a tent?
I don't remember when Joseph went there, how it described the building, if it did.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is.
Joseph's brothers went into the palace where Joseph was, and Joseph gave him 5 sets of clothes. And
Well, but what is a palace? Just a big building?
A big building with a lot of tubs.
I didn't read that, so I don't know what it has.
It's not a palace without a tub.
It probably has some pools, but...
So why is she bathing in the dirty Nile?
Maybe it's a clean part.
Have you seen the Nile?
Mm-mm.
It's dirty. It's not like the Ganges dirty, but...
I don't know. Maybe it was clean back then.
Maybe she was just ordained by God to go and take a shower or bath in the Nile.
Maybe.
Who knows? But she did. There's nothing I can do about it. Whether I understand it or not.
Such a funny thing to say. She did. Nothing I can do about it now.
So she saw the basket, told
What
her
is this,
slave
like
girl to go
4,000
get it.
years ago? If I could.
I don't have to agree with it, but...
Oh, man.
So she tells her slave girl to go get it. Sees the baby in it. The baby is crying. So now Moses is crying. She feels sad for it. Then Moses' sister goes up to Pharaoh's daughter and says, "Oh, hey, you have a baby. Wow, cool. You want me to go get a nurse for you? Somebody to take care of it?"
Pretty
And
smart.
Pharaoh's daughter's like, "Yeah."
Actually, yeah.
So she goes and gets Moses' mom. Her mom.
Also, Pharaoh's daughter noticed it was a Hebrew boy, yeah?
She assumed.
She took pity on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then a sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" She knew it was a Hebrew.
Well, who else would throw their baby in the Nile?
Yeah, but if she's Pharaoh's daughter, it's interesting she didn't kill it. She's like a rebel kid
Yeah.
against her own.
I'm not listening to daddy.
So the sister goes and gets this Hebrew woman, who is the mother, which is
Her mother and Moses' mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that Moses' mom gets to be Moses' mom for a little bit
And here's the catch.
and get paid for it.
You got it.
It's like, what is it? Trump's getting this new tax bill. Is that like the same? Now we're getting paid to be a parent or something? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know about that one. It's a new
It's,
one.
it's something, yeah, something new. I don't know if he passed it or he's about to pass it. It's like some $5,000 tax bill if you have a kid this year.
What if you had a kid before?
I don't know.
I mean, I still have a kid this year.
If you birthed.
Oh, a new kid.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked into it. I'm just like, okay, cool. If I have whatever, I don't know. I don't know all the details. Yeah, so Moses' mom gets paid to be Moses' mom.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Pharaoh's daughter's like, "Hey, if you take care of this child, I'll pay you for it." What a great scam.
Yeah.
Like, ditch the baby, but
But it's only for a time. It's only for, I don't know how long.
until he grew up,
When is
a little
that?
bit older
7? When is that?
probably.
8? 6?
But, okay, so the mom puts him in this basket.
3-month-old.
Puts him, 3 months old.
Still
Puts
in
him
a,
in the
still
river.
In a newborn onesie.
Puts him in the river.
Are they still in a newborn onesie? No, there's 3-month onesies now. It's like 3 to 6. It's newborn and then 3
There's
to
3
6.
to 6 because Nolan was on the Gerber one, remember?
Yeah. So there's newborn, then 3 to 6. I don't know. So
Yeah.
he just got a new onesie.
Just got a new one, brand new.
Put him in the
Sleep
basket.
set with the hat and everything.
Yeah, put him in a basket.
He's got the little fold over mittens so he can't scratch himself.
Yeah.
Protect the skin.
Yeah.
Because you got to be perfect to be in the Pharaoh's house. So he's in the reeds along the bank of the Nile. She put him there and then she just walks away. What did she expect was going to happen?
Maybe it was pre-planned. Like, hey, watch her
You think she
Like-
knew, like, Pharaoh's daughter came and bathed
or
at
someone.
that?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe it was routine.
Maybe pretty cool, yeah. And she's like, hey, watch over your brother. This is what you have to say when, someone comes and finds him.
You think it was pre-planned, or do you think his sister just, like...
I don't think she came up on the spot like that. I mean, I don't know how
Wow.
old she was.
Yeah.
Maybe she's like 19. Maybe
She
it's
doesn't
an
have to be
older...
19 to be smart.
Yeah, you do.
Bro, my daughter would have came up with something like that.
That's smart. That's pretty smart. I don't think so. Sorry, Nova. I don't think so.
Oh, I'm going to go wake her up, and you're going to tell her right to her face. You can go tell her right to her face that you don't think she's smart enough to come up with a plan like that. She would shut you down real quick.
Oh, man. So we don't know how old the sister is.
Don't know. But
Interesting.
I like to think that it was her plan. Just
Either way, it's all cool. Either situation is it's cool. It's interesting.
it is, because then the mom gets paid to take care of her
Someone
own
was
son.
either smart enough to pre-plan it, or someone was smart enough to have it on the spot. Either way, pretty
Yeah.
cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Moses' mom raises him up to an age with, let's see, what does it say? When the child grew older. That helps. No footnote or anything. So the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. When the child grew older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." So he didn't even have a name until
Or I think he had a name. I was going to ask you, what would you think the mom was calling him? Just no name because I'm going to give you away, so I'm not even going to get attached.
Yeah.
No. They have so many like meanings and names. I was like, dude, his name is either. I always think since I read Beautiful, I'm like his name is probably Beautiful, or since they had to hide him, cooler name would be like Hidden. Like his name was Hidden. That'd be cool.
It would be cool.
What's your name? It's Hidden. Please tell me. Yeah, no, it's hidden. Okay, how do I find it?
Or she could have named him something like Mosea. Because if Moses, I drew him out of the water, then Mosea would be like, I put him in the water.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Something I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You see the correlation?
Yeah.
So maybe it was like, I put him in the water, that's what I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
And then Pharaoh's daughter's like,
I drew him out.
I drew him out of the water, so that's what I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
I don't know, I couldn't really think of anything else, but
Yeah.
Mosea's pretty close.
Yeah.
So now Pharaoh's daughter adopted him. And apparently Pharaoh was cool with it, or did she hide him from Pharaoh? He was older.
Yeah, he's older. I think, isn't it later on someone thinks he's Egyptian? So it's like maybe Pharaoh didn't know what he was.
Well, he was raised in the Pharaoh's palace. He was taught Pharaoh's,
Yeah.
like, all of the knowledge.
So Pharaoh just didn't know he was Hebrew, maybe.
It had to be.
Yeah.
Because he was raised as an Egyptian, like, prince.
Yeah.
I guess Pharaoh's daughter must have told the soldiers, like, don't hurt this baby because I'm having her nurse him for me. Because now she didn't have to hide him, apparently.
Yeah.
So there must have been some sort of communication or decree of, hey, this baby don't hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
Well, because she got rid of him because she couldn't hide him anymore.
Yeah.
Then when Pharaoh's daughter says, take care of him for me, and she says she raised him, or she nursed him, and then when he grew older, Pharaoh's daughter took him in. So did she have to hide him still?
Maybe.
Maybe Pharaoh's daughter had, like, you know, like one of those, like a coin or something, or a signet ring. You know, when it like shows like, yeah, like, hey, if anybody comes to mess with the child, just show them this.
Yeah.
There had to be something. Otherwise, the soldiers would have just came and been like, and then Pharaoh's daughter would be like, where's...
Well, they're killing the babies when they're born. So after a while, it's like, okay, he's old enough. I don't know when that is. Like 9 months?
Does it only matter like when they're first born?
I don't know. Wasn't it?
Like Pharaoh's logic doesn't make any sense. Like you can only kill a baby if it's less than 6 months old. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then Pharaoh should be able to do the math.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I issued this decree a year ago. This kid looks roughly a year old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's still hidden somehow. I don't know how.
It doesn't seem like a very strict rule that Pharaoh put in place.
Either hidden with guards' help or hidden without.
You got Hebrew women that are busting out the babies like before the midwives can get there. And Pharaoh's like, all right, well, whatever. And then you got a 6-month-old kid walking through Pharaoh's palace he has no idea where it came from. His daughter all of a sudden has a kid.
Well, she's watched him for a little while.
Yeah,
until he grew
still.
older. So he doesn't see this.
Yeah,
baby.
but Pharaoh can't do the math? Or was he just over it by then?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Even if he was 7, even if he was 12, Pharaoh should have been like, oh, you're 12. Where'd you come from anyway? Like,
but by then,
my daughter never got pregnant, so I don't know how she has a son all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And why are you 12? 12 years ago, I happened to get an order to kill all the babies.
Yeah.
It just doesn't...
There's some holes, yeah.
It doesn't compute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he was raised by Pharaoh, even though it doesn't really say.
Yeah.
But in verse 11, one day after Moses had grown up...
So I'm assuming adult-ish.
Had to.
Yeah.
He went out to where his own people were and watched them at their hard labor. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Glancing this way and that, seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hit him in the sand. The next day he went out and saw 2 Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew? Then the man said, who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian? Then Moses was afraid and thought, what I did must have become known. So my question there,
Obviously.
he kills an he looks around, there's no one watching. He kills an Egyptian,
So the guy he saved.
buries him in the sand. What happens next? What, like...
The guy he saved had to have told.
Yes, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about the dead Egyptian. Because did his wife fill a missing persons report?
Did he have a wife?
Did he have a family? Somebody had to know. He was a guard, so he had to report.
He was a guard?
It was a
Oh, he was just an Egyptian beating a Hebrew.
yeah, an Egyptian beating a Hebrew is probably one of the slave masters or whatever.
Maybe.
Somebody would have had accountability for him. Either a colleague, the pharaoh, a family member. He just disappears.
You think there's a police investigation?
Well, did they have? That was my next question. Actually, like, did they have people to investigate missing persons and murders back then?
I would say to a degree, probably. Because then they, like, execute people. They put people to death for stuff.
But
Like,
that's
there's still a
that's if you
judge.
have witnesses that see it.
Yeah, there's still a judge. They still judge things. Like Pharaoh.
Yeah,
was
but I'm
probably
talking.
a
That's the
judge.
things that they see. But if no one's around, there's just a dead body.
So
Did they like
So whoever's judging
cordon off
has
the
to-
area and do like a whole crime scene investigation? Oh, this sandal print is a 10.5, and it goes that way. We're gonna go find a guy with a 10.5 shoe.
Definitely not to that extent. When I was reading this, though, it's like
That's lame.
I've always known about, oh, Jesus killed a guy. And it's like, oh, or not Jesus, Moses.
I was like, where did you read that? Jesus killed a guy.
Moses killed a guy. It's like, oh, Moses was a murderer. And I'm like, so I'm reading this and I'm like, I'm kind of saying in a baby voice. I'm like, or mocking. I'm like, oh no, Moses is a murderer. Like, bro, he's just saving his own fellow man.
Self-defense.
Yeah, basically.
It can be self-defense
Yeah.
if you're defending somebody else.
Yeah, I would say he still might be in the wrong, but
It might still be murder.
yeah, but it's like I don't know if I can fully blame him.
Did the Hebrews know that Moses was even Hebrew?
That's a fair question. I think, yeah,
Because he was a baby raised
Egyptian, yeah.
Egyptian.
Because then it's later on, I think it's on the same chapter, that someone thinks he's Egyptian. The girls, or the Midianite girl.
I don't know.
Yeah. But why are these guys even fighting if they're oppressed and they're getting beat up by Egyptians? Why are they fighting each other? Like, find some common ground. Get over it. Stop fighting each other. Second, bro just saved one of your bros. Why are they judging him? Like, oh, they're like, oh,
Because some people are just tools.
like, get over it.
And that's the thing, like, if you save somebody and they're just like a little, like, useless knucklehead and they go and tattle on you.
Yeah. Like, oh, didn't you kill an Egyptian
Dude,
who
that'd
was
be-
oppressing another Hebrew and beating him? Yeah, that was me.
But like you
You're
said,
welcome. What do you mean?
but like you said, the guy that was getting beat that Moses
Yeah.
saved from the Egyptian.
He might not have like tattled. He might have been like, oh, dude, so grateful. This guy came in. He did this.
You think it was water cooler talk? No.
Maybe. And so it just spread.
Well, how terrible would it be if the guy he saved went and told on him?
That'd be terrible. But I don't
I would be
know.
so mad.
I just don't see that being the case. Moses, how dare you? That beating? I deserved it.
Well, you're not.
Why would you do that?
I made fun of him or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But there's people out there that like if you give them CPR, they sue you or something like that.
That's
Or if you save them and they get hurt, so they didn't die, but they still have their life, but
I'll hurt you some more.
they hurt themselves or broke a bone or whatever,
I'll break some more bones.
and then they sue you.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah, I'll make them hurt. Like, if I'm going to pay for it anyways, all right. I'm going to get my money's worth.
That's like
Is that bad?
no, it's not. I'd put them back in the ground where they should have been. Allegedly.
God.
This is recorded, so I'm gonna
Hypothetically.
hypothetically.
Dude, yeah, there's right and wrong. There's rules, sure there's laws, but there's things above the law, right?
Not above.
Kind of.
Between.
I'm not, definitely not for murder. I don't want to hurt anybody with purpose, maliciously. But there's obviously
In self-defense, though.
yeah.
If somebody else is getting beaten and they obviously can't defend themselves, then I will happily go and help.
Yeah.
Defend them.
And I don't know if it even says Moses meant to kill the guy. He struck down the Egyptian and hit him in the
I think he
sand.
meant, because it says that he was looking around to make sure there were no witnesses. So he had...
Before he struck him down?
Yeah. Verse 12. Glancing,
you still don't want to be caught fighting a guy.
glancing this way and that and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hit him in the sand.
Oh, yours says kill. Like just
Mine says straight up kill.
Yours makes it sound like for sure he wanted to kill.
He's like... Kills
See, I
him,
think-
buries him.
I think the way Christian Holman put it was that the Egyptian was striking this Hebrew. Moses striked that Egyptian. And then the two Hebrews were striking each other. Like it's all the same words, but there's different outcomes.
There's a lot of striking going on.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was
So everyone's striking each other?
exactly. But there's just different outcomes from the strikings. Is the way Christian Holman was putting it. Which made me think he didn't mean to kill him. And then ESV says he struck down the Egyptian. So I'm like, I don't know if he meant to kill him.
He meant.
Because you don't want to get in a fight anyway, especially against an Egyptian at the time if they're the oppressors. You know, like make sure there's no other guards around. Make sure I'm not about to get walloped by these other Egyptians, even if it's just a little fight. So I don't know if he meant to kill him.
I think he did.
Maybe.
I think it's cool that he knew he could.
That's pretty cool.
Because he looked around.
Yeah, I'm about to mess this guy up.
Yeah, he's like, all right. This guy's done so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I do like that thought.
Well,
do I
Moses...
have violence in my bones or something?
Well, you are kind of an aggressive
I've
person.
never been in a fight.
Yeah, you hit your
Other
brother
than
with
my
a book.
brother. Other than my
You
brother.
hit your brother
I didn't
with a
hit him
book.
with a book. I almost
You hit
did.
the book
No.
that you put up against your brother.
I was no, I
You
wasn't.
John Wick
I
style,
wasn't
like,
that
you put
cool.
the book and then
I
punched him or
wasn't
something.
that cool. No, yeah, I was holding. It was a hardback book. Walking past each other, and there's, built up tension the whole week because we're brothers a year apart. So we bump each other in passing, probably on purpose. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I think he punches me in the side. So I grab him, and I'm holding the book. And then I look at him, I look at the book, and I drop the book. And I just keep looking at him. I'm like, don't do it. I'm going to do it. I just poof, right in the eye. And he drops. And that was the only time I've punched him before, but that was the biggest punch. I thought his eye was busted, and I thought there's blood spewing out. As a kid, I thought his eye was gone. But he was fine. And then he had a black eye on his birthday and on Thanksgiving for the family dinner. And they're like, oh, what happened to you? And he'd look at me and just say, him. The only other time I punched him, he was, we were showing baby pictures, and we were in the tub as kids.
Oh,
So
okay.
And so he's
Thank you for clarifying that.
So he was embarrassed because we're naked kids, and I'm like, bro, it's not that big a deal. So he we're sitting on the floor. He gets down and he's bicycle kicking me in the shoulder. Just I'm like, what the heck? So I just put his legs down and I punch him on the top of the head. That's it. I think I've only punched twice as the same person.
The same person.
And I've been punched, almost getting in a fight. One of my best friends still, Brandon.
You're calling him out.
Yeah. He's the same age as my brother, actually. He was also a younger brother in the neighborhood, so we bullied the heck out of this guy. Thankfully, he's still a friend, because we were mean to him sometimes. But so, there one time, we're all just
I hope
running.
you apologized.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One time we were all running together, and I just I'm just going to trip him up. So just, kick his feet while we're all running. He falls. He gets up, and he just, he's swinging. He just, nicks me. And that was probably one of the first times I ever punched. But I'm like, whoa, calm down. It wasn't a big deal. Another time, I don't know what I did. I probably just said something. And it was just me, him, and then a female friend of ours. And it set him off, and he nicked me again. And I just jumped on him, put him in a ball, and held him on the ground. And he kept wanting to get up and hit me. I was like, dude, I'm not. Like, I'm just going to hold you here. I can hold you here all day.
Why did he keep nicking you? Are his arms too short?
I got out of the way. I'm fast. I almost got out of the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't fast enough.
So you dodged it enough. So
Yeah.
it was your cat-like
So it was my
reflexes
only,
that saved you.
the only times I've been punched. Yeah. So
But
I'm
I
not
think-
a violent person. But
Well,
hypothetically,
I think Moses.
I am.
I think Moses intended to kill the Egyptian.
Maybe.
I think it's cool that he knew he could,
Yeah, murder.
and then hiding him in the sand. And then I don't know how he got figured out, but when he stopped these other Hebrew guys from fighting,
He goes to Midian.
when Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian, where he sat down by a well. Did Pharaoh know Moses? Like, he had to have. So why would he want to kill him? If he knows
It
that
could
he
have
was
just been a
raised by his
report.
daughter.
It could also just be a report, like, hey, this guy killed this guy. And he's like, okay, put him to death. I don't know if he knew him exactly.
He knew
like
him
that.
by name. There's no way.
I don't know.
Okay, assume he didn't know him by name. I can see that. Like, all right, yeah, he killed one of mine, kill him. Let's assume the opposite, where he knows it's Moses. They said, hey, this guy Moses,
Maybe he's got a law that, an eye for an eye type.
he's going to
thing.
kill his, his daughter's son, his grandson? Adopted grandson?
Adopted, yeah.
After all these years?
If it's a law in place, like life for life, I don't know.
Yeah, but Pharaoh can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Raise the
But it's
scepter.
not his son. He doesn't care that much. I don't think.
You think Moses and Pharaoh didn't get along?
I don't know I don't know if they interacted really, honestly.
He was trained in the way of the ninja by the Egyptians. That's why he knew he could assassinate this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're raised in the Pharaoh's palace, you got all the goodies.
Yeah.
The best of the best. So he flees to go live in Midian. He sat down by a well. And then a priest had 7 daughters, a priest of Midian. They came to the well to draw water for their father's flock. And then some shepherds came along and drove them away. But Moses got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. So Moses was just chilling by the well, minding his own business. These 7 girls come up to get water for their dad's sheep. And then the shepherds come and drive them away. Was that like normal?
The way the daughters go back and tell the story, it sounds like these guys were just
Jerks.
like something they did that were like picking on them or bullies.
Yeah, so Moses wasn't having it. Again, trained in the way of the ninja. Because it says shepherds, plural.
More than one.
So Moses got up and actually drove them away, which, again,
Pretty cool.
respect.
Yeah, pretty cool.
The girls returned to Reuel, their father. He asked them, why have you returned so early? And then they said, an Egyptian rescued us. So they think he's an Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock. He not only drove the shepherds away, but he drew the water and watered the flock by himself faster than those 7 girls could have done it.
Yeah. Chivalry right there. This is where chivalry began.
This is why men aren't allowed in women's sports. One man watered the flock and did a whole bunch of extra in less time than it took 7 women.
He could have just been a very athletic man.
He
and
was
they
very
worked.
knowledgeable. He was raised.
Yeah.
He was raised in the Pharaoh's palace. He probably knew some effective techniques. But it's written here in the Bible. I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating. An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. Then he drew water and watered the flock.
And the father thought they were there early.
Yeah, why have you returned so early today?
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
I'm just saying. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So then they tell him an Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. Their dad said, where is he? Why did you leave him? Invite him to have something to eat. I do like the customs back then where you do something nice or you're traveling. People are like, come stay with me. Let me make you some food.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, how awesome would that be nowadays if you just did like a cross-country trip? You're
There's
driving.
people out there that are like that.
You're driving and you just drive into a neighborhood and go up to a house and you're like, hey, I'm just traveling. And you're like, yeah, stay here. Let me make you some food.
There are some people.
How awesome would that be?
It would be awesome.
But then you go to the house and you go in and it's like, it's a trap. You're done.
Yeah.
Sketchy.
It's the chances. Yeah.
There'd be a lot of scary things out there.
So, and then it seems like right after he says that, Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses his daughter, Zipporah.
In marriage.
Is this the same night? Like, oh, this is nice. Oh, yeah, nice to meet you, Moses. Here's my daughter. Have fun tonight.
Bro,
I need a timeline.
He wanted him in the family because he just did the work of 7 of his daughters in less time.
That's crazy.
He needed to lock him in. So Zipporah was probably the hottest one. Notice how it doesn't say his oldest daughter.
The hottest one in the father's eyes. The father thinks she's the hottest one.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah. In a
But hey,
respectful
that's
way.
a dating tip. Hang out where a bunch of girls are going to go and just wait for the right opportunity.
Chivalry.
Yeah.
And then do their job faster and better.
Mm-hmm. I would say it does help if there's multiple girls, though, and not just one girl to help out, like a group of girls. I think it probably increases your chance. And then they all talk like, oh my gosh, he was so sweet, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe.
It's got to be. Yeah.
I mean, from a percentage perspective, yeah.
And he straight up got a wife.
You have a better chance with 7 girls
Yeah.
showing up.
He didn't get a date. He didn't get like, ooh, I'm interested. He got a wife.
He got a wife. But he also got food.
Yeah.
So
And a dwelling.
And a dwelling.
Yeah.
I wonder how long he stayed there. Because Zipporah gave birth to a son.
Yeah.
Moses named him Gershom, saying, I have become an alien in a foreign land. So basically...
Did you know Moses had a son? Does he have any other sons that I'm just blanking on right now? Did you know he had a son at all?
I did after reading this.
Isn't that crazy? Like I know Moses' story. I've read this. Why didn't I put that? Why is that a shocker to me? Like, he has a son?
Because
He has a stupid name?
Because he's not really mentioned
It's because he has a stupid name.
in the adventures of Moses.
Gershom.
It's Hebrew for an alien there.
So, but this is fun, learning stuff.
Oh, so check this out. So yeah, he was there a while because in verse 23, it says, during that long period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning and remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So God looked on the Israelites and was concerned about them.
So why
So
didn't
he had to wait for the
Israelites-
king to die?
It sounds like he had to wait for the Israelites to complain.
So the Israelites complained after the
Should've
king died because they were...
He should have just complained earlier
Wouldn't they have been happy?
that he died.
The king
Well,
that was
there's-
oppressing them
I'm sure there's
died.
another king that kind of just like takes over and like, yeah, I like that oppression. Keep it up.
Keep up the good work. We need the pyramids.
Exactly. The brick and mortar.
We only got the base done, guys. We need to keep going.
Is that what it was? Brick and mortar? What it talked about? They were working
Yeah,
in the other chapter or earlier this chapter.
yeah.
Rick
And all kinds of work in the fields. I love that show. It's so funny.
I think I saw one season.
Pickle Rick is the best episode.
I never saw it,
I think it's
but I've heard everyone say that.
season 3, episode 5, but I don't know. But it is super funny. It's crude but funny.
Yeah, definitely crude.
Moses was there so long that the king died. I want to say he was gone like 40 years. I don't know why that was in my head, but like he left Egypt and became an old man before going back.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think we'll get there in the next couple of chapters. The king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out. I don't know why they didn't groan before. Or if that's just coincidence, or if they groaned because the king died and they're even worse off.
Yeah, they should have complained earlier.
I don't know, but God heard them and was concerned about them.
Yeah.
And that's how chapter 2 ends. So we're going to cover chapters 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8,
6, 7.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
You know what? I don't know. We're going to cover the next future chapters.
Yeah.
We'll figure out how long of a discussion each one's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you have the burning bush, signs from Moses, God's promise.
Hey, your Bible has underlines. So mine doesn't have any underlines.
The underlines are mine.
That's what I'm saying. Yours has underlines. Mine do not.
Yeah.
I know they're yours. It's your Bible.
And then chapter 7, we get into the good stuff.
Cool.
Plagues, tortures,
All right.
and more plagues.
All right.
I'm excited about that one. Because I'm very curious which plague you think would be the worst. But we'll ponder that when we cover them.
And since you like to relate pizzas, are we going to have like a
No,
fried cricket pizza? For
we're not having
locusts?
locusts. We're not having frogs. We're not having blood.
Oh, dude, frog's legs are actually...
Frog
pretty
legs
good.
are good.
Yeah.
But we're not going to put them on a pizza.
All right.
No, we're not doing any of that. We're not doing flies.
Oh, dang, that's good.
Nope.
All right.
But we could just eat outside.
Even if the people want.
This is the South, so if you want bugs, just eat outside.
Yeah.
So,
So what would you rate this pizza? We ate a lot of it. But I guess maybe it's not as heavy.
the only reason I
either.
didn't finish it
Finish it. You got one more.
is because I didn't want to get my Bible all sticky. It does have honey on it, so.
Close your Bible and eat the last one.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
All right, so we're going to rate this.
I'll be honest, I was expecting more out of this. Although it's good, I don't know if it was the proportions of the ingredients themselves just didn't mesh well, or what. I mean, I think it's the first time we actually ate the whole pizza, though.
It is, yeah. That's why
Which-
I wanted you to finish it.
which is
honestly.
ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I am giving this a 6.
A 6?
Yeah, it's over halfway, right? It's still good.
You think it's better than the caramel apple pizza?
Oh, gosh. Where did we rate that?
Like a 4.2.
Taste-wise, I like the other one. I like caramel apple.
No, the caramel apple taste-wise was
Yeah, it's
good, really
yeah,
good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'll give this a 6. Because I can still definitely eat it, and I still ate a decent amount.
We ate the whole thing.
If it didn't have honey, I'm curious if I would like it more or less. I love honey.
I do too. You think the honey took?
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out exactly.
I am.
Maybe I just don't like ricotta cheese that much. But we had ricotta with
the
fig,
spinach,
though.
the spinach ricotta, and
The fig.
Yeah.
That was
ricotta, bacon, and fig
phenomenal.
was our
Yeah.
second best pizza
Yeah.
compared to the seafood.
Yeah. So I don't know if the honey mixed with it. I love honey.
I think it was the basil
Maybe.
because it was supposed to be fresh, whole basil leaves.
And that would have changed. That would have made it.
It would have changed it quite a bit. Yeah, 'cause instead of the fresh chopped basil, which is still good, but it's not like a fresh. Because I was gonna put like raw, fresh basil leaves on top after it came out of the oven.
I think Cheerio's hungry. You should let him try it.
See how he reacts. Yeah. Cheers. Hey, come
You want some pizza?
here. Hey, what do you think? What do you think of that?
You want some Red Bull? You want some pizza?
Here, what do you think of Red Bull?
No, not interested.
Is he not
So
interested?
yeah, I think that's a 6.
Cheers.
Pizza.
Here, you want some Red Bull?
He's like, ugh.
He's like,
Ugh. You put that in your body?
he went right back to his food dish. I'll agree. I think a 6 is fair.
Really? You're not like just changing it because it said 6? What number did you have before I said 6?
It wasn't high. No, I think
But that's okay. Sometimes we just need a little 6 every now and then in our experiences. That's fine.
I mean, I would not make this pizza again.
I wouldn't eat it again. No, I would eat it again if I had to.
I would eat it if I had to,
If-
but
yeah.
I'm not going to go and spend the time and effort with these ingredients. Something was off on it. I think it was the basil because ricotta is really good on a pizza, and honey is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and lemon juice is really good too. I didn't really even taste the lemon,
Yeah,
but all of
I forgot that was on there.
Exactly. That's the point, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you don't even know that there's an ingredient on there and it's clearly all over it.
Yeah.
I think the basil got it. I think the basil ruined it. Yeah, I was actually going to probably give it less than a 6.
Really? Well, then do it. What were you gonna give it?
I would probably give this one like a 5.
So 5.5. 5.5.
Yeah, because anything above a 5 starts to get into the I'll make it again category. This one,
You'd make a 6 again? When you can make 9s just as easy? What?
well, if I have a guest over and they want a specific pizza,
Yeah.
I'll make it. But if they want this pizza, I say,
Nah,
You don't
sure
want
about that?
you don't want that. Let me.
It's like, I'll make it, but I'm gonna make it different.
I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna do ricotta, bacon, and fig.
Yeah. Instead of the lemon, bacon. Instead of the honey, bacon.
We still had a good talk.
Yeah, man.
Half of it wasn't even about Moses, but that's what makes it fun.
That's all right. Yeah.
Well, I just happened to go to the fair today.
Yeah.
So.
And I just happen to love throw up stories.
Oh, speaking of.
Remember the other time I talked about Mexican food?
Yes, I could have done without that.
Like here we are
And then
talking.
you recapped.
but
too,
now,
like, out of all the things you could have recapped to,
but now,
I was like,
I
come
choose
on,
the
dude. Why would you choose the Mexican throw up?
I guess the throw up stories. I didn't.
So get this. I forgot to tell you about this from the fair today.
Yeah.
So they have daily promotions. So depending on what day of the week you go, they have different things.
Yeah.
So today was Heroes Day.
Okay.
Admission was free.
Did you ever watch the show Heroes?
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, I got it on DVD.
Really good.
Yeah.
I do too. Super good. Who was your favorite person in there?
Peter.
You like Peter?
Before I even knew he had powers, he was my favorite.
I liked him too.
I do end up
like
liking
Skylar. Yeah.
In the end, yeah.
Even though,
He's pretty dark at first.
but I get it. You need the power.
Anyways.
I wish there was a way to like get it a different way.
There is. If you don't have his power, I guess.
Because doesn't Peter have that ability then, or something like that?
He has the ability to have whatever ability as long as he's
In proximity.
I think so. I think it's proximity or the last person he touches or something. But then that might be Rogue too. Rogue is who she touches
Rogue.
in X-Men.
Rogue kills people she touches though.
She drains them.
Yeah, same thing.
Takes your power. Yeah.
But
I think it's
anyway.
proximity. I think Peter's is proximity.
So it was Heroes Day at the fair.
Yeah.
And so admission was free for law enforcement, military, first responders, firefighters, and teachers.
What does that have to do with heroes?
Because they're heroes.
No, the heroes are a cheerleader, a senator.
A random Japanese guy.
Yeah. Drives a Nissan.
Just a
Nissan.
Nissan
Altima?
Versa.
Or Visa Versa, yeah. Nissan Versa.
Nissan Versa.
Nissan Versa.
Yeah.
Law enforcement, teachers, nurses.
Yeah. So I'm like, sweet. Military and my wife's teacher. Right? Because we homeschool.
All right.
Homeschool is a teacher, man.
All right.
So I go up to the window and I was like, hey, it's Heroes Day, right? And I'm looking at the sign. I'm trying to like make sure I got my information right.
Get the, yeah.
I said,
Details.
teachers and military are free, right? And the lady's like, yes, with proof of ID. And I said, okay, well, I have my military ID, but I was like,
Here's
you
my
know, we're-
homeschool email certificate.
I said, my wife is, our homeschool teacher. We homeschool our kids. And she's like, well, I need to see an ID. And I'm like, or she said, I need to see like a school
Proof.
ID.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, we don't have a school ID. We homeschool.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, you need to have an ID because there was a lady that came just before you that had one. And I said, did she print it out herself? Like, was it made up?
Yeah.
Because there's no IDs that I'm aware of for homeschool teachers.
Yeah.
How?
You have like a email that you have like
No.
homeschool. You don't get any email sent with the curriculums or whatever.
No, you go to the store and you buy the curriculum and you just do the books here. So there's no ID, there's nothing. So the ladies give me a hard time. And I'm starting to get frustrated. It's only $10 for admission too. So it's not even money, it's principle. If you're going to say teachers are free, like, this is legit. We're not lying. We're not trying to work the system. My wife is our homeschool teacher. She's been homeschooling our daughter for 2 years, right? So,
and moms are the real heroes anyway.
Moms are the real heroes. Yeah. Moms should get in for free all the time.
Yeah.
She leans over to the other lady and she's like, hey, this guy's saying his wife's homeschool. Like, what do we do for the ID? And the lady's like, oh, you need to have an ID that shows your homeschool teacher. And I'm like, I don't have an ID. I'm like, so I go, oh, you know what? I do. And I picked up Nova and I put her up to the window and I said, baby, who's your school teacher? Bro, I was never so disappointed in my life. She said, I don't know. And then she's like from karate? And I'm like, no, who was your school teacher? And she, nothing.
Like math, like.
And she said nothing. And I'm like, so I can't tell her now because then the ladies are going to think I'm trying to force it.
Where do you go to school?
I should have asked that.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Well, I figured who is your school teacher would kind of be something. She can do multiplication and 3-digit addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
And she can't tell me who her school teacher is. Like, the girl can read and write. She's 5 years old. I was like, that backfired. So the lady behind her goes, you know what? Just go up to the guy at the gate and tell him maybe he'll let you in. So I was like, okay, the guy, just go to the gate. Yeah. I'm not gonna get tackled.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. So we go up to the gate and the guy's like, where's your tickets? I was like, the ladies at the front said we should just come to you and tell you.
Teacher.
And they're like, are you, military? And I was like, yep, military and teacher. And they were like, okay, cool. Yeah, you're good.
Boom. Yeah.
And then I said, no problems.
Yeah.
How do you prove that you're a homeschool teacher? Is there a homeschool teacher ID out there? If there is, comment, let me know, because
I'm sure there's people that have like online.
I feel like there should be some
like certificate or they at least have a curriculum sent to them. So
we have the curriculum.
Yeah.
Right? We have that. It's like the Bob Jones University, the BJU stuff. How do you prove you're a homeschool teacher? I guess because regular teachers have like a lanyard with their school ID and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So homeschool, I'll just print one up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a really cool one for Sabrina. I'm going to give her like a Mickey Mouse ears. And be like, it'll just say homeschool. Here you go.
Homeschool elementary.
Since we can just apparently print our own IDs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to come up with something. I really thought it was going to work when I held Nova up. I was like, baby, come here. I'm getting frustrated with these ladies. Tell them who your school teacher is.
I don't know.
Dude. I was getting mad. Like, I was mad at the ladies for giving me a problem. And
then that was all
pointed
at her.
Yeah. Then I just transitioned.
Redirect.
Like, seriously? It was just such a perfect plan. I'm like, oh, you need an ID? Okay, here's a human.
I should have thrown you in the Nile.
Can't, girl.
Yeah. You're stuck with her.
I'm like, you're like the smartest kid I know, and you just left me hanging.
Yeah.
She's going to watch this years from now, and she's going to be like, I'm sorry, Daddy. Yeah, you left me hanging, but it's all right. I still love you. We still got in for free, so.
It worked out.
Daddy got it worked out. Don't worry. I think, ultimately, it was a good day. All right. Well, podcast over. Extrude.
I can't get the images out.